So there I am, just hanging out, pretending like there's no new gear in the world and there are no new pedals that I want, and trying my best to pretend like I don't need to buy something at this very moment. And all of a sudden, this pops up. And obviously that's an attempt to bait me into wanting more, wanting to know more, but I resist. That's not true, I didn't resist at all. But I wait for the next one, and then lo and behold, this one pops up. Okay, you've now got my attention, Chase Bliss Audio and Cooper Effects. Right about that time, I see an email come through saying, hey, if you're, or an Instagram post saying, hey, if you're not on Chase Bliss's email blast, you need to, because something special is coming and it's a limited run. Obviously, I had to know what it was, because seeing that, I knew exactly what that meant. That meant Chase Bliss plus Cooper Effects had teamed up to do something incredible. So I had to know more. So naturally, I gave my email to Chase Bliss and I said, please, yes, sign me up for marketing. I would like to know more and receive details about what's coming up next. And then very shortly after, I got an email saying that this had become a reality. This little pedal is one of those pedals that piqued my attention absolutely immediately. And the reason that is because I have one of the early model generation losses from Cooper Effects, and it's just such a mind-bendingly cool pedal that when the Chase Bliss version came up, I just couldn't refrain from needing to know more. And obviously there were some teasers out there, some information kind of, dragging me along, wanting me to know everything I could. But the idea that the guys over at Cooper Effects and the guys over at Chase Bliss had teamed up to make this incredible pedal meant more than likely that I had to have one, right? Like, that was just odds are. And I guess the fact that I'm holding it here proves that they were right. I had to have it. So what happened was they teamed up and they made this newer version. They kind of breathed some new life into the generation loss by teaming up with Chase Bliss Audio, Cooper Effects, and making a new house version with some new options, new features, with a limited run. A limited run of only 1,000 of these. That seems like still kind of a high number, but when you figure how many some of the pedal companies that they're put out, 1,000 is actually decently limited without being silly about it too, right? Like, not like 30 or 100 or 5, or even one of a kind, but really doing 1,000 of these so consumers actually have the ability. I was not on a special list. I was an email grab. I saw it pop up, and as soon as I saw it, I grabbed it. That was it. There was nothing. They didn't contact me. I didn't contact them. I bought it full retail price. I wanted it. I have it in my hands, and that's why I made this video, is because I wanted it badly enough that I went and paid full pop, and I wanted to play. I wanted to do my board. So what this video is ultimately is my attempt at making a demo that makes sense for those out there who haven't played one of these yet or want to know what it's like and why they cost so stinking much on reverb already. These shot up back in the day, and then as soon as these went live, they shot up immediately. Same thing. So I wanted to play it that way that if you're considering it and you want to get one for yourself, you can justify what makes it such an incredibly rad pedal. Now, like all Chase Bliss pedals, it is feature heavy. I swear these things are made by engineers for engineers, but that's not a bad thing. That's actually a really amazing thing, because what that means is you get like 5 pedals in one, just like all of their pedals. There's the Chase Bliss Brothers, which is like a boost, an overdrive, a distortion, and a fuzz in one house. It's just unbelievable. Typical features like an in, an out, an expression in, a 1/4 inch MIDI in, an expression in to control all 10 million of these features. I don't understand what to do with and how to work them all yet, but that's the exact point of this, is getting in and figuring out what all 6 of these knobs, the 4 switches, and the 2 foot switches can do. So I'm going to, in my best attempt, demo this for a very, very simple, user-friendly video. And because this is such a typically complicated Chase Bliss pedal, my format for this demo is going to be a little different, where I'm actually going to talk through it, because I really want to make sure that it's clear, it's coherent, that you can pick it up buy one off Reverb and play it and feel good and confident about the sound that it is that you're going to get from it. So a couple small things is, unfortunately I don't have an expression roller that I'll be able to get into this stuff up here, which is really a shame. And I also don't have anything with like a 1/4 inch MIDI aux. One of the things that makes this such a fantastically cool pedal is if you were an 80s baby that got to experience the 90s, then you were Blockbuster. If you don't know what Blockbuster is, and this is probably lost on you, but these sounds that come from these pedals are just that. It's what you get from the old VHS kind of warble. It's what happens when you record and play to death old tape. It just wears out. So even though this is a super slick, shiny, clean pedal, the sounds in it just don't really match the aesthetics of it, because it's got that kind of old warble, broken down, pre-recorded, really textured sound. What I guess it's important to also recognize is, as I'm talking through the intro of this video right now, I actually haven't played this at all. I plugged it in the other night, I started to play it for like 2 seconds, and I really think I got one sound out of it, literally, and my son started crying and I had to transition, and now here we are. So this is going to be a ton of discovery going through all the different things that this thing can do. And not even all of it, because I don't have all the tools. What I want to do is I'm going to play a very straightforward video. Really simple playing, just tons of chords and tons of single notes so that you can really get a good sound, a good idea for what this is. If you're just wanting to know what it is, just sitting on the toilet trying to figure out a way to pass the time like most of you are. If you're considering buying one and you need to know what it sounds like, I want this to be a very honest video. No riffs, no frills. Just giving you a good honest sound of what this is. So that said, let's dig in, let's see what it sounds like, and we'll go from there. So, since the pause in this video, my neighbors have started working on their house, my other neighbors started cutting their grass, and Amazon is out delivering right now. So, there might be lots of background noise. Hopefully this video will be entertaining enough that that won't really matter. It'll teach you enough that you won't really care. Let's get into this. This is what it looks like to open up the controls. So kind of cool, what they do is they get you started with a bunch of different presets to really help you get in there. One is Beethoven, 2 is Toto, Airbud, I mean the Taco Bell dog. So we're not going to be able to get into any of these presets because I don't have overview. This is the sound of nostalgia. Before we get much further, let's get an idea of what my sound is. I'm playing through the Milkman, the amp, hence the headphones, and I am playing through my trusty 88 ES335, so clean tone. Sweet. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Just first sound, everything at noon. Alright, so starting with wow. Let's just go 100%, let's go crazy. It's cool. It definitely has that degradation thing about it. It actually reminds me of some of the like some albums that have that kind of vinyl pressing effect to it, where it sounds like there's the old record playing. Like Gregory Alan Isaacoff comes to mind. kind of that smooth, breathy airiness about it. All right, next underneath is the flutter. All right, let's turn them both down. So it basically sounds like there's nothing. I mean, I know it's obvious, but without wow and flutter, you can't do anything. If you have wow but no flutter, you get some sounds, obviously. With flutter and no wow, you get some sounds. So really everything is being operated out of these two places. Wet ramp. So let's get super wet, 100%, see what it sounds like. Totally washed out, all effect, not sounding like any kind of guitar, right? Let some guitar back through. Gosh, such a good sound. It's like if you were gonna play to stems, you wouldn't have to any longer. You'd be able to control that sound that would have been substituted with stems and doing it manually, which is cool because you have way more freedom and creativity to do that on the fly. That's so rad. All right, let's keep going. All right, so Jen. All right, now fully up. Ooh, you hear that? So my guess with something like the Jen is you're going to be using this in a scenario in which you want your guitar to kind of sit further back in the mix. When it's like a 0 or less than half, you're going to want it to sit back in the mix more as a texture. And when you're playing it at like 100% or 75, whatever the case might be, it's going to be much more present, and it's more the effect that you're trying to push through the mix. So really Jen is going to be that mix cutter is what my guess is. Let's keep going. High pass, HP. So fully right, fully clockwise means no highs. So good. All right, let's get going. LP. All right, let's try this at noon. Let's try that again. So we're gonna turn the LP down. All right, so that's particularly cool because now you can really start to see that that VHS tape sound. I mean, you can just hear how noisy it is just right now. There's just noise, right? So go 100%. Now there's a full hiss. So crank the gen up. It kind of sounds like one of those old jewelry boxes that you crank, and as it gets towards the end of its run, it kind of sounds more and more degraded. Okay, so with the current knob configuration, I've got wow fully up, flutter 100%, wet 100%, gen 100%, high pass at 0, and low pass at 100. Alright, let's keep going. There's a ton of stuff in here. Okay, the auxiliary function toggle. When this is here on the left, it will be fully maxed out, both the wow and flutter, when I do that. Alright, so there's your signal as you see it. So putting it in mod means 100% wow, 100% flutter. Gen is clarity. So the higher gen is, the better the clarity is. The lower gen is, the more degraded the signal is. So if we bounce gen way down and we keep the dip switch in the middle there on gen, that's the sound you get. When we activate it, it goes to 100%, so it's fully maxed. Now, while it's activated here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to crank the gen up, and basically it's going to go from 50% when it's off, or 100% when it's on. Alright, that's rad. Let's keep going. And then lastly, the aux stomp can be used to bypass the filters by setting the aux function toggle to filter. So we'll switch it over right there. So what that did was, by turning this on, it basically kills the aux settings. Okay, so I like mod, so I'm going to leave it on that one for now. And we're going to go over to the dry toggle. So, right now it's on small. I'm going to put it on none. Let's try it with no extra. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, so this is pretty straightforward. This is his toggle. Select between 3 levels of noise from none to quite a bit. These noise generators are a mixture of white noise and flutter distortion and can be sculpted with the high pass and low pass filters. Okay, that's interesting. So when you play with no hiss, the whole VHS thing just goes away. It just becomes kind of a chorusy Warbletron kind of thing. Like, it's still there and it's very 80s. I mean, it almost sounds like an organ. Like not an organ, but a synth thing. The sounds on this thing are so crazy. It's so funny. I'm actually sitting here remembering stuff from childhood that like I wouldn't have just thought of, because they were so specific to that sound and that context that it's literally conjuring up old memories. As I'm sitting here listening, it's pretty crazy actually. All right, only a few more. This one is basically the middle toggle here is just allowing you to save presets, which is amazing. It's just not simple the first couple times you do it, I assume. Oh, okay, so you can't let off. All right, now when I go back to the left, what? That's rad. I didn't know what I said. It's something preset. That's rad. All right, let's try something else. Okay, so that saved, and we switched over. So now I'm going to change the settings again entirely. So turn that one. Okay. So this time I'm going to hold this one down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And it blinks at me to let me know. And now when I play, I need to turn this one back on. And now we're playing an arcade game. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is switch back here to middle, and theoretically, if I did it right, it'll stay the same. Man, there's just so much on this pedal that it can do. Alright, so let's put it on this side and then play it. Okay. I don't want to change these settings because it's amazing. The like Pac-Man Galaga thing. Gosh, that is amazing. Okay, so what we're going to try to do now is we're going to try to actually save it there at the end. Save the other side, the preset. All right, so here we go. So I hold down 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now this should sound what you see here on the settings on the pedal. Man, this thing is crazy. This thing is so much more than I really thought it was going to be. I'm just totally blown away. Holy crap. There's a ton more. There's EQ, there's parameters and things we couldn't get into because I don't have the auxiliary stuff, the MIDI stuff. But I mean, I think that just from what you've heard in this, hopefully you've heard enough to want to add this to your collection. All right, so this being kind of the recap, now that I've gone through it, played it, and really only used most of it, I'm just kind of amazed at how fantastically cool this pedal is. So I remember when I got the other one, I was really hesitant, really concerned about whether or not it'd be usable, and I really liked the other one, the first one. Oh, that one. I always really liked this one, but it's just funny. I think that maybe because I don't know where I'm at now as, you know, in terms of music. I mean, I don't know. I really connected with this one. I like the size, the look, everything. The thing that was probably my favorite part of this pedal and digging into it was how accurately it recreated those old sounds. I remember growing up at my grandmother's house watching like Bob Newhart and Mary Tyler Moore and Dragnet and stuff like that, and like feeling flashbacks, you know, like actually remembering these old vivid colors from the 70s and 80s, you know, 60s, 70s TV shows that I was watching as a kid in the 90s, and seeing them very clearly and vividly while playing this pedal, kind of tripping out a little bit. And it's a really cool thing to be able to experience a different part of life through a guitar pedal. It's not something that you really come across, you know. And I think that's really what we want, right? Is we want to play stuff that has an impact on us. So if you're in my age bracket, you know, I'm 31. If you're in this age range or older and you remember those things really well, this would be a really cool addition to be able to play. To pick. But yeah, I hope you dig it. I hope that you go get one. I hope you have one. I hope this video has been helpful as you're considering whether or not to get the Generation Lost by Chase Bliss and Cooper Effects. And you guys have crushed it and made an absolutely fantastic pedal. Chase Bliss and Cooper Effects. This is fantastic. I'm so stoked to have one. Yeah, if you guys enjoy it, thanks.